Good morning. Good morning to you. How are you doing this morning? I am your host, John Schenk of Deerwood Realty. We are a small residential brokerage in South County, St. Louis, Missouri. That's better. We help buyers buy homes. We help sellers sell homes. I'm the managing broker. I'm the founder. Doesn't mean a whole lot, but that gives you some background. What I do on my live stream, Deerwood Realty live streams, is I talk about real estate topics, provide commentary from a person who's in it. I noticed long ago that there's all kinds of articles written about the real estate game by people that aren't in it. They're literally on the outside. They tell me what I'm supposed to be doing, and they say, well, I'm better than you. I look at the numbers, and then I know, and then I know what's happening in the market, they say. And then they say, I know how you should treat your clients. I've never had a real estate client, but I'm going to tell you, Mr. Real Estate Agent, how you're supposed to do your business. I got kind of tired of that. So I started this live stream. I started as a way to go back and forth with people that might have different views, that might look at things differently. I did it to learn. I thought it was important that we learn from each other, and I wanted a place where if you had an issue, you could put it in the chat. You could email me. You could get in touch with me, and we could kind of go over it and think about it from at least my perspective. In a former life, I would have been an advice columnist, but no one asked for my advice, and I don't really want to hype it. So I have my live stream. So that's what I'm doing. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where you are in the world, and that's okay. It's okay. The important thing is you're here now. Now you say, well, I'm not here now. John, it's 4/20/2022 where you are at 9 in the morning, and I'm watching this sometime in the future. Well, hello, future. Would you do me a favor? And I'm going to make the ask right up front. Would you hit the subscribe button? I'm in a slump. I'm at, I think, 8 subscribers, and I need to be at like 1,000. And I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. I don't think someone's going to happen onto my live stream and say, you know what? I forgot. I've been watching this so many times. I forgot to hit subscribe. No. I don't expect that. But boy, it would be nice to get some traction, because right now we're in a bit of a, I don't know, I wouldn't say free fall, but we're not doing what we need to be doing. Yeah. So how are you? It's a very odd day. It's raining, which is never good for the real estate business. It is Wednesday. A lot of houses that my buyers are really looking for have just come to the market today. And so that's causing some consternation, because I have some plans for this evening and tomorrow morning. I will not be back into St. Louis until, I don't know, 4 or 5 tomorrow afternoon. So that's going to be tough. So tonight's Our Nature of Employment live stream probably isn't going to happen at 9. I enjoyed last night's. It was wonderful. I don't think I'm going to have a live stream tomorrow, a realty stream. I think that I'll be gone. Not proud of it, but right now, with the amount of subscribers that I have, it doesn't make any sense for me to take all my equipment. All my equipment being, I don't have any with me on my trip, my business related trip tomorrow. So you're just going to have to make do. I mean, what I would do is I've probably made 100 or more, maybe even 200. It's been a lot of live streams, each an hour each. So what I would recommend is just go back if you're really fiending for a live stream tomorrow, and you don't see it, just go back to one that you probably haven't watched. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that's seen all of them, which is weird. But whatever. That's what I would do. I would go back and I would watch one, and perhaps you will see perhaps you will see like the blossoming of a flower, the growth of your host over that time. Was I nervous when I started? I don't know. I'm not really that nervous as much as I was worried I didn't have enough things to talk about. I didn't know if I could fill an hour's worth of time. And now I can pretty much do that in my sleep. When I say that, though, watch the live stream gods, come in and say, no, you will lose all of your words. But I found if I get on a flow, we just go. Now, it'd be nice to have some people in the chat in the morning. Sure would be. It'd be nice to have somebody say, hey, I don't think what you're saying there is correct. That'd be great. But, I don't have an answer for you. I don't have an answer. So I just was going through a bunch of stuff. Let's go over some things. I mean, might as well get it out there. One of the things I wanted to go over is yesterday I had an inspection at a house. Now, one of the questions would be, John, why did you have a professional home inspection for a property that is being sold as is? Why did you do that? Because, John, even if you find something during the inspection, it's not like you can walk out of the contract. That's exactly right. But I'll just go through my own history here. I, at one point in time, on a as-is house, there was a condo way back. Condos don't typically have a lot of issues here. So my buyer said, I don't want a home inspection. I don't want to spend all that money for an inspection. And so I said, okay, well, fine. And then when she moved in, the place wasn't even funded, and she was already moved in. She was a prickly woman, let's put it that way. And she says, oh my gosh, they're pulling out the floor and they found termites, and oh my gosh, this is bad, and and it's like, well, we walked through it, but we didn't do a home inspection. And so to me, it's always been, well, and then I've also had, when I do a home inspection, someone will come back at me and say, hey, this is, 2 years later, a buyer will call me and say, hey, this is a problem that the inspector missed. And I'll say, okay. And then I'll go look in the inspection report, and it turns out that it's in there. That the inspector didn't miss it, that the buyer just flat out stopped looking at the report. Like, it's been 2 years. They just kind of, it's easier to blame somebody than it is to just look at the report. Now, that doesn't absolve home inspectors. Don't get me wrong. I have a love-hate relationship with home inspectors. My belief is that the home inspector is there to find issues that could cost you potentially thousands of dollars. Okay. But they're not there as a negotiating tool. That is, they're not there to find that there's a cracked faceplate and to tell the buyer that they should walk away from the house because of 4 cracked faceplates, all totaling the whopping sum of maybe $4.67 at the hardware store. Okay? Like, that's a little bit ridiculous. I also get upset when realtors are in what I would say in cahoots with inspection companies. And so all of a sudden, an inspection that should be maybe $400, $500 at the most ends up being $2,000 and $3,000. And when it is that expensive, okay, and they have inspected every single inch of the property 14 different ways, magically they find $3,000 worth of things wrong with the property. When, to be honest with you, they're just picking at stuff and trying to justify their exorbitant fee. This is what I think. Now, you can come at me and say, I'm the best inspector ever, and I would never do that with my clients. I'm sure you wouldn't. And then those that would say, they had it coming. Well, whatever. I don't know. I just know what I see. And I know how I would like to do things in my business, and so that's how I do it. Now, we had the inspection because I don't want my buyer to feel uncomfortable buying a home. I've had experience in construction, in residential construction. I'm pretty familiar with most things. Always a new thing here or there. Electricity is not my strong point. I'm afraid of electricity. And I cannot do any plumbing. It's just, I'm bad at it. But other than that, I'm okay. I'm serviceable in most things. So, we have that inspection for peace of mind. Like, hey, did we buy a terrible piece of property? I've only had one inspection where we just had to walk afterwards because the house was just terrible. And the reason why I didn't see it is because there had been an animal up in the attic that had basically eaten through all the wood, and there were thousands and thousands and thousands of holes in the wood that goes around the house. Well, that all has to be replaced, which means the siding has to come off. And I couldn't see it because it was in the attic. At that price, it wasn't going to work. Plus, there were some other dicey things. So that I did have to walk on that one. But I typically don't use the inspection as a reason to walk from an offer or from an accepted offer. It has to be something wrong. Now, I've had other people walk, but sometimes I think that they get cold feet. Sometimes I think that the realtor may have sold them a bill of goods that doesn't add up. So anyway, how does an inspection usually go? Well, I call a company and they come out, and if I need additional things like termite inspections or sewer inspections or pool inspections or something, they coordinate that and they get everybody out there at the right time. Inspection went good yesterday. You're always going to find stuff. Some of the things that I would say are most common is a GFCI outside. They need to be covered, like with a piece of plastic or something. Well, over time, the plastic fades, cracks, breaks off, and the seller doesn't change it because they live there. It's not a big deal. Some of the other things that happen is plumbing. Somebody will go to the store and they'll use I call it corrugated, but it's not. The type of pipe that's not flat inside. And they'll use that to hook up a drain, stop a leak. And while it seems like a great idea, and I have no problem with it, they say that bacteria builds up in those spaces and is more likely to cause issues for you down the road. Those are two things I see often. Miswired three-way switches. I've had professional electricians sit at my house and screw up a three-way switch. So if they screw it up, I have no problem with someone else, do it yourself for screwing up a three-way switch. That's typically what I see. On the minor things. If it's something more than that, maybe there's some electrical thing, but it's just not. I don't know how to put it. I don't. Like something like smoke detectors. You're supposed to have smoke detectors in every bedroom and one in the hallway, at least here, one in the basement. Those are the things I see from a private inspector. Is it earth shattering? No. There can be things that they see. A lot of times if there's a more difficult foundation issue, you might have an inspection and they might say, well, this is terrible, or I've had this situation for 50 years. It doesn't look like it's changed. This should be fine. But yeah, I don't typically expect a whole lot during an inspection. I don't want, if I'm representing a buyer, I don't want them to find hundreds of thousands of things wrong with the house, because that kind of reflects poorly on me as the real estate agent in discussing whether or not you should write an offer on a house. Now, I'm going to say this, and I don't mean to be offensive, but there's different kinds of real estate agents, okay? There's real estate agents that don't know a gosh darn thing about how you build a house. They don't know a gosh darn thing about the systems inside. They don't know about the cost. They don't know anything, but they will tell you that the color of the wall is no longer in style and that perhaps you should change it. Now, this to me is a tremendous disservice to the industry, because what that person will end up doing is saying, oh, well, they've designed a beautiful kitchen. Let's buy the house. Let's make an offer. And then your buyer makes an offer and it turns out that the kitchen is the only thing that they've done. There's thousands of dollars worth of work. And now you're the idiot either paying for that house at an expensive price, so no value, or you're embarrassed and you walk during the inspection. And I just feel like that's wrong. I just feel like, why would you as an agent, this is my ethics. Why, if I see something terrible about a house, why would I have a buyer? Why would I tell them, hey, I think it's great, let's write an offer on this house, and then let's go through the inspection period and let the inspector tell my buyer that this is a terrible purchase. Then as an agent, I'm absolved of anything. If anything, I look great because I told the buyer to buy the house. See, that logic doesn't make any sense to me. I don't want that. So, I'm sorry, I'm just checking the old email. So, I just saw a house go up for sale. It's just terrible. So anyway, that's kind of how I looked at it. So the inspection yesterday, very nice. Nothing weird. Is there deferred maintenance at the home? Yes. Like there's a door in the back that should probably be painted. There's some wood that's rotten that should probably be replaced. But other than that, it's a great house. My buyer's going to be so happy. And yeah, that's where we're at on that. That's the inspection. Yeah. As far as me for the schedule this weekend, I suspect that there are going to be quite a few houses to show. I had a listing appointment a while back. I don't know if I got the listing or not. I'm not going to press too hard. I don't see that as being necessary. But yeah, that's that. I think I'm ready to go into stuff. The first thing I'd like to do is talk about Netflix and Google Trends. Full disclosure, I have a Netflix account, but let me get you over here. Let me get this here. Let me go here. This is our Google Trends. There were 200,000 searches on this, I think yesterday, but I'm just finding out about it today. It says Netflix stock slammed by a new wave of downgrades. Narrative is donezo for now. So this came out this morning. It says a new band of Wall Street analysts rushed to cut price targets and ratings on Netflix in response to deeply disappointing results, though shares of the pioneering streaming service have been under pressure for months. Shares of Netflix are down 37%, tumbled around 29% in pre-market trading on Wednesday. The morning after, the company delivered a considerable slowdown in revenue growth and a surprise net loss of subscribers. While Netflix shed 200 subscribers in the first quarter, the company predicted it could lose 2 million more in the second quarter. Okay, it says, though a wave of analysts downgraded Netflix shares after a downbeat report 3 months back, more piled on Tuesday after Tuesday's earnings. UBS analysts warned that increased competition, macroeconomic pressures, and a saturated market could further impact Netflix's ability to boost its subscriber count. They cut their rating on the shares to neutral from buy and lowered their price target to $355 from $575 a share. Now, I have a little bit of my own thoughts on Netflix. Netflix ran a show called Cuties, which was absolutely disgusting. Netflix brought, I think Obama has some show or some sort of thing involved, or he's on the board or some sort of weird thing with Netflix. It went very far left. I think that has something to do with it. The Cuties thing was bad. And then I believe that they had, was Netflix were with Dave Chappelle, and people went crazy on that. None of those things are talked about in this warning. It says increased competition, macroeconomic pressures, and a saturated market could further impact Netflix's ability to boost its subscriber count. So that's what they say, and what I say is a little bit different. We were tempted to get rid of Netflix after the Cuties thing. That was just gross. It says Pivotal Research and analysts slapped a double downgrade on Netflix, cutting their rating on the shares to sell and taking a mixed view on some of the company's recently discussed efforts meant to jolt momentum. A couple of things. One, I don't want to keep watching that. When Netflix is no longer a growth, like Wall Street, at least in my experience, pays for growth. They will pay a premium for growth. I think because it's an easy thing to sell to retail investors and institutional investors. If you can sell a growth story, that's optimism, hope, and when you have to sell a contraction story, that's not easy to sell at all. This is my opinion. You can be pretty much close to bankrupt, and if you're selling a growth story, you will get a decent share price. You can be close to bankrupt and talk about contracting, and your stock will get hammered. Cash on hand doesn't seem to matter. Your balance sheet doesn't seem to matter. It just matters what the narrative is. Is it a growth stock? Yes, we'll pay a premium. Is it not? Then no, we won't pay a premium. So the analyst thought that Netflix could boost average revenue per user by cracking down on password sharing, though they warned that such a move could also cause material higher churn. Additionally, the Pivotal team was unconvinced about the merits of a potential advertising tier on Netflix, writing that it cheapens the brand and the product versus the current great customer experience and introduces ad volatility to results. So either Netflix or analysts have come out and said, well, if there must be too much password sharing. We're losing people. So let's cut down on password sharing. That should solve the problem. See, to me, that's a dissonance. There's no way, like you're losing subscribers. It isn't because of password sharing. You're losing them. Sharing a password isn't helping. I mean, you're losing them. It's a different thing. It says, Wells Fargo analysts said that Netflix shares look less attractive now that the company is firmly on the defensive, and they argued that the streaming giant's narrative is donezo for now. I think that's true. How is it going to get more subscribers? I mean, that's the issue at the end of the day. How do we get more subscribers? And then is Netflix what it was? I mean, Netflix was the alternative to going to the video store. Netflix was the alternative to spending $100 a month on cable. Is that still the narrative in 2022? I mean, now Netflix is known as a company that has odd programming. And they're excited about it. It's like, As Netflix plans to increase its emphasis on programming, great. Take aim at password sharing and explore the introduction of advertising, the Wells Fargo team sees a company in reactionary position. Said investments change the historically simple story, cloud the return profile, and cause Netflix to lose its shine in our view. From here, we see the catalyst path as being clear as mud. It's hard to argue with that. They reduced their rating on the shares to equal weight from overweight while having their target price to $300. JP Morgan joined the downgrade parade as well, with its analysts writing that Netflix just had a sea change quarter in which the company essentially conceded to every key point of the bear thesis. They noted that Netflix work on password sharing and advertising ultimately could help revenue, though the payback would likely take time. And not only that, if you start making me pay for advertising on Netflix, I'm leaving. I'm already halfway out the door right now. I really don't like what they did with Chappelle, and I really don't like what they did with that cuties thing. It was gross. It says their development is still in the early stage, and we do not expect rollout until 2023 for account sharing and 2024 for advertising. Accordingly, near-term visibility is limited. Our 2022 net ads come down sharply from 16 million to 8 million, and there's not much to get excited about over the next few months beyond the new, much lower stock price. They lowered their rating from neutral to overweight while reducing their target price to $300 from $605. Now, just understand, I don't have any sort of affinity for stock analysts. I mean, I really don't. They have no record of past performance that leads me to believe I should ever trust them in making a stock decision. Barry Ritholtz, chief investors officer of Ritholtz Wealth Management, seemed to take aim at the late wave of downgraders. He tweeted that the Wall Street analysts appeared utterly useless this time, given that the Netflix share had dropped about 50% from their October highs, even without taking into account the declines expected in Wednesday's regular session. I mean, if you look at the chart, it's terrible. Netflix's take on the state of streaming market weighed on rivals and others in the industry. Shares of Walt Disney dropped 5% and Roku dropped 7%. Then and then it says it slid at 6.8 in pre-market trading, while shares of Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount also fell. Now, to me, the streaming market, Roku does not make the streaming market. They're like a hardware supplier. So anyway, and Walt Disney has its own issues, as you are aware. Evercore analysts led like Mark Mahaney slashed their price target from $300 from $525 a share. We continue to view Netflix as having exited premium growth land and believe the stock will likely track the market from current levels, they said in a note to clients while reiterating the inline rating they established in January. Netflix is a great company and a great service, and Netflix has been an amazing stock over the last decade plus, but not too dissimilar to what happened to Priceline. 5 years ago, growth has started to slip, largely due to maturity and competition, but also due to new market challenges. I agree with that. I mean, unless you can get me something, unless you can have a Netflix exclusive program that I like, I'm not interested. I'm just not. So, anyway, the pandemic, they said, drove Netflix to further maturity in its most established markets like North America, Latin America, and Western Europe. Netflix is now in about 60% of North American broadband households on paper, though the company's penetration is likely deeper when factoring that Netflix sees considerable password sharing among people not in the same household. I don't share my Netflix password. I don't care. I mean, it's my family, whatever. Wedbush analyst Dan Ives tweeted Wednesday that the current earnings season was looking like have and have-nots for the tech sector. Enterprise cloud and cybersecurity will shine, in our opinion, and enterprise spend remains strong on digital transformation, while the work-from-home COVID growth poster child stories like Netflix, Zoom, etc. will fade. I don't know. How do you have a whole article in there that says nothing to do with the controversies around Netflix? I mean, seriously. Like, how does that happen? No frame that. Here we go. That's what I see as like the dishonesty in the world today. We don't discuss things. It can't be that they lost their core customer base by some of their terrible policies. And you say, well, censorship, you should be allowed to show little girls dancing around in small outfits. Yeah. And then it's like the same people that say you should be able to do that say, oh, Dave Chappelle's terrible. Terrible. But that Hannah Gadsby's funny. Wow. Anyway, is Netflix going to come back and be a powerhouse? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm trying to think of how they could get their business back. The only way you get, like, on streaming, to me, the only way you get somewhere is if you have shows that nobody else does, and then people will pay for them. I mean, Paramount Plus has one that I've not seen, but I'd really want to see. I'm just not forking over the cash for it. I don't know. The world seems to be a different place. Like, live streaming wasn't possible 10 years ago for me. I mean, I didn't know how I could do it. So now I'm not saying that I'm dragging viewers away from Netflix. No one's making that switch, although I wish they would. Maybe I need more production. Maybe I need a second camera to be able to go back and forth with. But I've always thought that's kind of annoying anyway. I had that happen to me yesterday. I was talking to somebody and then the camera would switch back and forth between me and the other person. I was like, this is weird. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Let's move on to something near and dear to my heart. And I want to, how do I preface this here? I want to do this. I want to do this. This is the mortgage rates for today. Now, I was on Twitter yesterday. And by the way, my Twitter's down. I don't know if your Twitter's down. Let me look. I mean, it was bad. It's back. I mean, my Twitter being down this morning made me upset. Anyway, I saw a tweet yesterday that said the interest rates in California were 7% for a home. And this is a mortgage survey for across the United States, and we're at 5.35%, up 0.10 or 10 basis points from yesterday. Still climbing higher. Now, could it be that way in California? Maybe, but I think that tweet was wrong. I mean, maybe rates are 5.5, 5.6, 5.7 maybe right now on a 30-year fix. I only look at the 30-year fix. That's the only one I care about. Anyway, that's what I saw. Now, as rates continue to go higher, house prices have to go lower because people can't afford them. You say, well, John, people can afford them because they're bidding more for the houses, they're bidding in cash, these types of things. It's all mania. It's all mania. They're trapped. It'll all go away. So don't bank on that continuing. If I'm representing a buyer right now, I'm saying you buy the house. Next couple of years is going to be tough. Maybe there's a chance somewhere down the road for a refinancing. But even then, that means that the house has to appraise for something like close to what you bought it for. And if the market goes down, then you won't be able to do that. So it'll be difficult. Now, Fed has a real problem. They've been printing money hand over fist. They've been buying assets, which is artificially creating huge waves in the marketplace, and print money and buy a bunch of stuff. It's just dicey. To unwind that trade, I think the Fed's going to go. I think they're going to over tighten, and then I think they're going to rush to cut. Because the reality is there's just no way to run any differently on our economy. It runs totally on credit, totally on free money, and everyone uses that free money to basically big corporations use that free money to just bash their competitors. So or innovation, I mean, just completely stifle it. Because an established company can finance things that one that isn't can't. That's how I'm explaining that. But anyway, it'll be really weird to see really, really low interest rates again, because that's going to cause inflation even more, which is already terrible. So I mean, they're just in a really bad spot that they've put themselves in over time. The smartest kids in the room are really not that smart, and it's fascinating to watch. So with that, let's look at some houses. Have you ever been to Seattle, Washington? I have not. I'd like to go sometime. Now we gotta, I thought we had there we go. Have you, they have some nice houses. Let's put it that way. We're at 16 million for the first one, 15 million for the second one, 12 and a half million for the third one, but let's get started with this one. This is a $16 million home. 39 pictures. Love that. 5 bedrooms, 6.5 baths, 11,000 square feet on a 7/10 of an acre, 56 days on the market, built in 1910. Let's look at the property history. I mean, it sold in 2018 and it just went to the market in February. This is not unusual action. Okay. Escaped the ordinary. Noted Sam Hill Mansion, circa 1910, reminiscent of a true Manhattan brownstone. The neoclassical revival style mansion is one of Seattle's most distinguished residences. Prominently positioned on one of the most beautiful tree-lined streets within the Harvard Belmont Historic Landmark District, it captures unobstructed views of Lake Union, the Olympic Mountains, Puget Sound, and the storied St. Mark's Cathedral. Sophisticated and chic, dramatic in form and contemporary in style, a powerful creative collaboration transformed the interior spaces. The Stuart Silk Architects and Garrett Cord Werner collaboration produced a fresh, open, light-filled design with bespoke interiors crowned by a stunning rooftop terrace. Iconic. Well, let's take a look. This first picture isn't that great. There's a second picture, a little more interesting. That's the rooftop terrace, I believe. I mean, 11,000 square feet is nothing to sneeze at. Pretty good size. But if you're going to talk to me about the views, I got to see the views at some point, right? There's a view. It reminds me of Dr. Fraser Crane. I'm listening. That's the kitchen. That's nice. I don't know what that is. I like when people take pictures of stuff and I have no idea. And then, so here's the view, but you don't really, I mean, they're trying to take a picture of this thing. Art. I mean, that's the bathroom, I guess. There's a view. So like they've updated it, basically. Okay. Oh, there's a safe. I guess that's, I mean, this is weird. Just the picture. I don't understand what I'm looking at. And then like, I don't know. It's very interesting. Okay. All right. 16 million for that. Let me check the chat. Oh, there's nobody in the chat. I was worried. All right. I was worried because I didn't want to miss anybody. So here we go. 39 pictures, $15 million, 7 bedrooms, 8 baths, 11,000 square feet, 203 days on the market and built in 1910 as well. What does it say? 15, like, let's look at the property history. Listed in 2021, and they took $1 million off it in 2022. Property details, let's look at that. Originally designed in 1910 by Carl Gould, this home has undergone a thorough renovation for the 21st century. Priced estate setting with a double-gated entrance with, I don't know even what that is, porte cochere? Commanding front west-facing views with expansive terrace overlooking Lake Union and the Olympic Mountains with space to dine and lounge. 4 levels of living space featured 6 ensuite bedrooms. Steps lead down to the generous lawn replete with pool, lush grounds, practice soccer field, and basketball area. No sports court. Additional amenities include a 5-car garage parking, generator, gym, central air conditioning, library, sunroom, media room, laundry center, lower level guest suite, and separate gated service entrance. Okay. 39 pictures. I like that it's under 50 pictures. Now, this is Compass has this listing. I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is just walking into the house. I got nothing. Okay. It's always weird to me, like you see these, oh, there's a dog. You see these listing pictures and the houses are beautiful. Okay, don't get me wrong. But then when you go, the houses aren't as nice. It's kind of depressing. It's a very odd range hood. I don't particularly like that one. But I think it would be cleaner. I don't know. That's what you need to, like that other house, I feel like it needed to show the views. That's pretty. Is this a bedroom? That's very nice. That's a nice size bed. I would really like a nice size bedroom someday in my life. Would it be with a fireplace? Oh my gosh. Look at that. So, people have moved out. I get it. The house is still in great shape. There's your little soccer. I suspect, though, here, if you kick the ball over the fence, you've got a world of hurt. Like, just go buy a new soccer ball. For a house built in 1910, that's pretty darn nice. I mean, it looks like it's really been kept up nice. So that's nice. So let's look at the next one. 12 and a half, also brokered by Compass. It's interesting. This is 12 and a half million, 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, 6,900 square feet on a 2-acre lot. So by far the biggest one. Only 13 pictures. And it's right on something. Built in 1969. Let's look at the property details because it says there's 2. Yeah, see, there's 2 listings. It says a rare opportunity to purchase one of the last grand lots on Lake Washington. This private 90,000 square foot waterfront playground features both lakeside seclusion and the pulse of Seattle city living. 240 feet of low bank shoreline, immaculate grounds, mature landscaping, and private multi-boat lock. The 6,230 square foot estate features high ceilings, 4 beds, 6 baths, beautifully appointed kitchen, and open floor plan that embraces indoor-outdoor living. Protected driveway and 9-foot laurel hedge provide security and tranquility. Sport court, hot tub. It's got a sport court. Fenced yard, large garage, and plenty of parking. There's another listing for this property that includes 4 of the 5 lots, 4 of the southern lots, house and a dock. 70,000 square foot, 192 feet of shoreline for $10.5 million. So I suspect they're saying that the house isn't really worth that much. Let's just go ahead and knock it down. But, I don't know about that. I mean, that's pretty nice. They're not going to let you see inside it, I don't think. Yeah, they're your lots. That's good. All right, let's look at another one because that's kind of, oh gosh. Hopefully we can get back. All right, so that was 12.5 million. This one here, I think, is a lot. I don't think we're going to see anything here. Let's just look real quick. And if it is what I think it is, yeah, there's only, now we're not doing well. Like when I was in my early streaming days, oh my God. Like let me lose sleep over that tonight because the internet was messed up. Let's look at this one. It's $8.2 million, 5 bedrooms, 7 baths, 9,970 square feet on an 8,600 square foot lot. The lot is smaller than the house. Built in 1902. Since 1902, this stunning Queen Anne mansion has overlooked the city which grew into Seattle today. Originally built for Seafirst Bank founder W.J. Whitney, this historic home is unlike any other. Sitting at the highest peak in Queen Anne, the views may be the most breathtaking in all of Seattle. So hopefully we'll see a lot of views in the pictures. Entertain on the 3rd floor, which is a bar, dining area, sitting area, and provides 210 panoramic views I don't know about that, of the Space Needle, Puget Sound, and LK Union. The meticulously restored, nearly 10,000 square foot estate with unrivaled construction has everything you need. Kitchens, laundry, and each bedroom floor. Enjoy movie nights in the 7-seat theater, work out in the gym, or host guests in one of the many ensuite rooms. Gated with plenty of parking, the epitome of luxury. So it's been listed, though, since 2019. It started at 11 million. Now we're down to 8. 40 pictures. There's the space, and I don't know if they added it or if that's really there, but it is. I mean, that's it. So let's just take a look. It's kind of a nice picture. So just so you know, like I live in the Midwest, and my understanding of Seattle is it's like Europe. It's cloudy all the time and rainy and drizzly, like London. This is what I'm guessing. That's what I see. But like this picture here, it looks like it's sunny and nice. So what am I to make of this? It's beautiful. Just beautiful. The woodwork is just amazing. It's nice. Now this, I don't think any of this is original to the house, except for maybe this fireplace. You know, like some things to me seem timeless. A big bedroom, that makes sense seemingly anytime. Laundry on the first floor, to me, you know, since the 70s, makes sense every time. A big kitchen, to me, is just, you know, awesome. Those kinds of things are timeless. Flooring, I agree with that. I mean, you get a good hardwood floor. You know, this here's a tile. Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. What I see more often in these higher end homes that we don't see when I show homes very often is like a bar or entertaining area on the first floor, like a waiting area, but also a space where you could hang out for hours and be comfortable. Like they've got a bar here. There's your theater room. I mean, if that's indeed the view from the, oh, look at that. They've got a floor plan. They're on it. We've talked about this. Why would you not have a floor plan? All right. That's it. We're going to move on. Let's go on to the article of the day. I thought this was interesting. Is it better to rent or own a home? Here's how to decide the right move for you. Okay, I'd like to know that, because I've always said with my people, you know, if you're going to be if you plan on being in a home for 5 years or more, it seems like you should buy a house. And I'm of the opinion, if you want to buy like there used to be these things called starter homes. And if you had a job and you had a good credit history, you know, you're 24, 25 years old, buy a house. Don't worry about getting married. Don't worry about anything else. Buy a house. Learn how to, learn how to, I should always turn my phone over before I start. Learn how to live in a house. Learn what's required of home ownership. Learn how to cut grass every week. Learn how to, you know, paint the walls, make the house look good. Then, if you do get married, if you do find someone you want to spend some more time with, sell that starter home that you've spent time repairing and putting in good shape, and buy a bigger house. That's the way it should work. That's not the way it's working in today's world, and that's depressing. I wish it wasn't that way. But anyway, let's see what they have to say and see if I have anything to opine. With skyrocketing housing prices, home ownership may be out of reach for many Americans. Yet rents are also rising. I think that's a very important point. So how do you know if you should own a home or rent? It depends on a number of factors, experts said. Well, I don't trust the experts in anything. If you're not sure whether or not you want to rent or buy now, it's better to make your decision based on your personal situation, your personal needs. Well, that seems like that's when you always should make decisions based on your personal decision, your personal situation, your personal. How else would you decide? It's probably one of the dumbest things I've ever read. Home prices jumped 19.2% year over year in January, according to the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index. Meanwhile, single-family rental homes gained a record 12.6% in January from the 12 months prior. On top of rising prices, mortgage interest rates are also soaring, hitting their highest level in more than 3 years last week. When it comes down to the numbers, it's generally more affordable to own a home, but the gap in affordability is shrinking as interest rates rise, according to a real estate data tracker. Owning the median-priced home is more affordable than the average rent on a 3-bedroom home in 58% of the country. I agree with that. It's always been cheaper to own a home than rent. However, it just seems like it makes more sense sometimes for some people. To be sure, affordability is an issue for many. Fully 64% of non-homeowners said it's holding them back from owning a home, including 43% who believe their income levels are not high enough. High home prices and the ability to swing a down payment and closing costs were also constraining buyers. Closing costs shouldn't be an issue. Down payment, I can see that being an issue. Here's what to consider. Oh, man. I got to put this down. This is getting out of control. Before you consider buying, think about where you are in your life. Are you looking to settle down somewhere for a while, or will you be moving up in a couple of years? Or moving. The general rule of thumb is it takes about 5 years to 7 years in a home to recoup the purchase costs, and that includes closing costs, which add between 2 and 5% of the purchase price. If your home needs are going to be pretty consistent and stable over the next few years, if you think that, we all know that life throws us curveballs. Now may be a really good time to buy for you. If they're changing, you may want to consider renting so that you have the flexibility to move. Check your finances. It says, ask yourself if you're financially ready to own a home. This includes having enough emergency savings in case something happens in your first year of home ownership. You should also have enough monthly income to afford the mortgage payment, taxes, insurance, as well as monthly expenses like utilities. Check your credit report as well, since your credit score has a direct bearing on the mortgage you'll get and the interest rate you may pay. If you see any mistakes, get them corrected before you apply for a loan. I agree with that. One of the things that I've kind of come to the belief that you should do is, if the seller isn't offering a home warranty and like you're a first-time home buyer, it might be a good idea to get a home warranty for the first year, even on your side. Why? Well, things happen. What if the air conditioning goes out? Well, is the home warranty company going to fix the air conditioning? Yes. Is it an issue of the air conditioner just being old and just kind of running out of time? Maybe. But you bought yourself a year, and things can change in a year. So I'm okay with the home warranty, especially if you don't know contractors, if you don't have friends, you don't have family that can refer you to somebody that you can trust or do a good job for you. I think this is a reasonable path. I don't think that the home warranty costs like less than $500 normally, or between $5 and $6. It's not that expensive. I don't push home warranties on people. I mention it, and if they think that's a good idea as well, they go for it. Anyway, that is one way to blunt that. You don't know, something could happen in your first year of home ownership. That's what I'm saying. If you can't afford the monthly payments, continue to rent and keep saving money if home ownership is your ultimate goal. If high rent prohibits you from saving, consider downsizing or making other big lifestyle changes so you can start putting more money aside. Yeah, I think that kids are given a great opportunity when they move back from college. They should be able to save up money and move out. A lot of kids don't, though. They spend their money on other things. It's stupid. It's just stupid. You should be saving money to get a home. Rent is expensive. It doesn't matter if it's $700 a month or $1,700 a month. It's money that you could be using to go towards a home purchase. You'll read that if you cut back on that $4 latte habit, it could really help you save for a home. While it's really good to save, where you're really going to find that big cash for that down payment is going to be in those big spending categories like housing or your car. Yeah. I mean, you're buying a car. I see some people buy a car before they buy a house. I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But, that's what people do. They're young. They don't know any better. They want to have the bling. They want to show off. They don't feel like showing off in a big old fat house is where they need to be. To each their own. Know your number. Figuring out what you can afford if you were to purchase a home is especially important now as home prices are rising. That's true. So a lot of my buyers that were approved for a certain amount at 3% are not approved at the same number at 5% interest rates. So I've had to go back with all my buyers and say, hey, look, here's where you are. This is what we have. This way, you have boundaries set around your home shopping. The position you won't want to be in, falling in love with a home and getting your offer accepted, and then having to figure out how to pay for it. Well, that doesn't happen in this market. You very seldom ever get the home that you actually love. You make offers on 6 to 10 properties, and then you get one. And after a while, you're just beat and don't want to play anymore. Anyway, that's the way I look at it. You could be different. Check out homes in your price range on sites like Realtor.com or Zillow to determine if they fit your needs. You can use online calculators to help you make financial determination between renting and buying, including those for Smart Asset, NerdWallet, or Realtor.com. Also, keep an eye on rising mortgage rates. Holbert warned the Federal Reserve has indicated it will increase interest rates 6 more times this year, which is going to crush everything. It's just going to be impressive. Anyway, that's why if you're currently in the market to buy a home, it may be better to do so now before rates and prices climb higher. Just don't caught up in FOMO, the fear of missing out. That could lead you to regret your purchase and put you in a financial bind down the road. The novelty of that house will wear off. The mortgage payments will not. All right. I don't know. This didn't really, did this help you determine whether or not you should rent or buy? Is anything in there like, oh, I never knew that? Nah. They took a stab at it. This is an interesting article. I don't know if you can see. Yes, you can. Okay, I want you to see. This is an article that says Dan Handy wrote this on March 31st, 2022 in Zillow. If you look at the URL, it says research best time to list, and then it says 2021 3090. Now, is that proof that the article was actually written in 2021 for last year? No. But it could be. I just turned my phones back over. Sorry. Here we go. Selling your home this year, why late April is the best time to list. And it is, in my opinion. Maybe even early, maybe even April, just the whole month. Homes listed for sale in the second half of April can expect to sell for 2.8% more, or about $9,300 on the typical U.S. home. The first 2 weeks of November are the worst time to list a home, associated with a 3.5% discount. The potential price difference between the best and worst times to list is 68% higher than it was pre-pandemic. Well, I don't agree with that. Let's get through it. Nationwide, the best time to list a home for sale is a Thursday during the second half of April. Homes listed during those weeks can fetch 2.8% more, or about $9,300 on the typical U.S. home. And homes listed on any Thursday when shoppers are planning for weekend showings can sell for about $1,100 more. Yeah, I saw a house this week where the agent, who is totally an idiot, put the house active. Coming soon last week, active on Monday, offers due by Tuesday night. What the hell? Like, that's the worst marketing job I've ever seen from an agent. There's worse, but it's still pretty bad. If you're a seller and your agent says, "Hey, I've got this idea. I've got bingo on Tuesday night, and I don't want to be bothered by listing your house. Let's just cut it short. We're just going to list it for a day." You should probably think about a different agent. I'm just saying. For decades, home sales have trended upward in the spring and summer and dwindled in the colder months. The 2020 home shopping season was greatly disrupted by the pandemic. It really wasn't. It was really strong, really quick. 2 weeks after the thing, really took hold, we were out there just showing houses, witnessing an atypical drop in inventory and sales. It wasn't really that bad. By midsummer, the market was once again humming along, and the momentum continued through much of the winter, leaving some uncertainty as to whether seasonality was a thing of the past. The months since have shown that homes are selling fast regardless of season. But the time of the year you list your home can have a big impact on the sale price, and we are approaching the ideal time in much of the country. Normally, or nationally in 2021, homes listed in late April sold for a larger premium than homes sold any other time of the year. Knowing the best time to list has gotten more important as home values have risen to new highs. The potential price difference between listing a home during the best time of year and the worst time of year is $21,000 nationally, and as much as $200,000 in the California Bay Area. Pre-pandemic, the potential difference nationally was $12,500. So we're not in California. I'm just not. Listing in the spring months, March through May, is the best time for sellers in 30 of the 35 largest U.S. metros to get the highest price for their home. If 2021 trends hold, homes listed in February fetch the best prices in Austin, San Jose, Portland, San Francisco. In contrast, in 2019, there was no metro where homes listed prior to April were expected to have the highest premium. Okay. Homes through 2021 sold so fast, there was hardly any benefit for listing at one time of the year over another. Midwinter through April were when the homes typically went pending fastest, although that was only about 1 day on average faster than the typical pending time throughout the year. This is a much smaller benefit compared to 2019, when homes benefited from about a 3-day faster sale if they were listed in April and early May than the national average. When it comes to the number of eyes on your listing, early April may be best. In 2021, listings in early April received the highest rate of daily page views compared with any time of year, nearly a third more views daily than the national average. Home listings in early November received less attention than any other time of the year, and homes listed later that month sold at the biggest discount. The best day of the week to list a home if you want it to sell for the most money is Thursday. If you want it to sell as fast as possible and list it on a Friday, though again, that brings the sale only 1 day faster than listing on the next best days, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. This is really bizarre because we have coming soon. You can list it 21 days, I believe, before the market. So, I don't know. What do you think? I do think that, historically, now is the best time to list your home of the year. I do believe that. Now, does that mean it's going to be that way in the future? I don't know. Will it go back to that? I hope. I hope we get some normalcy in the marketplace. That'd be nice. Yes, it's kind of frustrating as a buyer's agent to go to a house and the buyer says, "Hey, I'd like this house. How much is it going to cost to get it?" And I have no idea because someone could, like I said, 2 weeks ago, $75,000 over asking on a $400,000 house. I don't know. Doesn't seem like a good plan. And then on the sell side, people say, "Well, I want more than what the highest home sold for in this neighborhood last week." And you look at the comps, and it's like, "Well, that was one house and it was on a bidding war. I don't know if we can get that. Your house isn't as nice as the one that sold." But people don't want to hear that. Sellers don't want to hear that. So it's tough. It's tough. You could say, "Well, you need an experienced agent." No agent has ever been through this. This is bizarre. Bizarre times. So what did we learn today? Seattle has some nice homes. Interest rates are continually, or at least have gone up now 2 days in a row. We learned that Netflix, not doing well. We learned that rent to buy article, not so great. Not very, very helpful. Because the bottom line, it's like, depends on your personal situation, which should probably be the case every time you buy anything. And then we learned that listing homes in the middle of April seems like a good idea, and that if we weren't going to use coming soon, that we should start the listing on Thursday. This is not news to me, but maybe news to you. Now, if you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing. I know I put it out there first. I don't normally sell subscribing hard. I used to think like, "Hey, you guys are smart people. You'll just go ahead and click the subscribe button." Now, I'm not saying you're dumb people. I just don't think that you I don't think that you realize that I could really use subscribers. And so I'm asking for your help. Please subscribe. That would do a lot for me going down the road. And, watch my videos. That helps too. With that, I'm going to head out. Big day ahead. I don't know that I'll be here tomorrow at 9. I don't know that I'll tweet it. I think you're just going to have to get, kind of lucky. And if I'm here, I'm here. If I'm not, I'm not. I'll definitely be back on Friday, though, for sure. And so with that, I'm going to head out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me in my endeavors to bring you a real view of real estate in the Midwest, in St. Louis, at least, maybe other parts of the country. Who knows? But thanks again.